I'm Charlie Love and welcome to this Chrome Enterprise tutorial with Apps, Events and Acer. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about managing suspended users. So how that works in Google Workspace when you suspend a user, how you can do that in bulk, and just give you some tips around how to be able to do that in a fairly quick manner. So we'll have a little look at that just now and have a little look at how we can manage suspended users. So why would you suspend a user? Well, if you're the domain admin, you might decide to suspend a user. So they might be suspended from their work, or they might be not at work for another reason. You might wish to suspend an account then. They may no longer be employed by you, so you might want to transition their account away and do something with that account. So you might want to suspend it while you do that transitioning because the employee has left. Or it could be about the user behavior. So how they've behaved requires that the account is suspended. And equally, this could be within an education setting. It could be pupils that leave the school, or it could be teaching staff that are no longer employed with you. And you would want to perhaps do something about suspending the account before you then took further action around how you manage that account thereafter. You do also get automatic suspensions, and these happen when Google suspend the account for a particular reason. So it could be that the user has tried to access a service that they are underage for. So some of the services are age appropriate. So you have to put in a date of birth. If you put in the date of birth, that means that you're under 13. The system will lock your account and then delete that thereafter. And I'll talk about that a little bit. You might have an unverified sign-in. So if lots of user accounts have been created really quickly and the user's trying to sign in, it might be unverified. So again, users can get that account back, but they have to provide a little bit more information. The user might be at risk. So if there's a hack attack or suspected attack on the user account, the account will be suspended so that can be investigated. And finally, you didn't follow Google's terms of service. So if you break the terms of service, the account will be suspended, and generally speaking, that means the account thereafter goes after a period of time. Suspended, and then you won't get it back. So that's kind of what happens in terms of users being suspended. So what happens when a user is suspended? Well, the email, documents, calendar, their data as it is, it doesn't get deleted. It just means that the user can't access the account. So content that's available to others and shared with other people will still be available. And shared documents are still accessible by the collaborators, but any new email or calendar invitations will be blocked being sent to that user. So they won't get any more email and they won't get any invitations being sent to them. There is a kind of a caveat to that, which is if Google suspend an account, depending on what's happened with how that's been suspended, some mail may still be delivered to the account. Also, if you're still using classic Hangouts, the user that you suspend will still be in the Hangout session until it finishes. Once it's finished, they won't be able to get back in, but just to make you aware of that. But of course, classic Hangouts is moving to chat. Most customers are already there already. Everyone is going to be forced over to chat with a mandatory migration early in 2022. Users can be suspended automatically, as I mentioned. Sometimes that can be because of age. So some services their access requires you to meet a minimum age. In the case that a user tries to access a service and puts in a date of birth that makes them under 13, for example, the system will suspend their account and ask them to make sure they go to accounts.google.com and submit proof of age. The admin, of course, can correct their age through the admin console. But if you're on an education product and you find that happens, then you'll need to contact Google support if the student is under the age of 13. Unverified sign-ins. Well, there's a couple of cases here, a couple of causes of why you might be suspended because of an unverified sign-in. If the user has engaged in abusive activity, phishing or spamming, then what they'll have to do is they'll have to go into accounts.google.com and follow the on-screen instructions to get the account back. Depending on the severity of it, you might have to do a clear CAPTCHA check or enter a verification code sent to a mobile phone. And this is to verify that the user is actually the user and not a bot or someone who's got access to the account. Cause 2 is if the user's account has been added along with multiple other accounts over a short amount of time. And in that case, the user can reactivate their account by going to accounts.google.com and entering a verification code that's sent to their mobile phone. So you can get the account back that way. If the user's at risk, so the account has been, there's potentially been compromised, then in order to get that account back, admins can reinstate that account, but you need to go through the security checklist before you do so. So the brief version of the security checklist is here. The account suspended. Investigate the account using the logs is what you would do. Revoke any access to the affected account. So take back, reset the password, revoke the OAuth tokens, remove any app passwords you might have, and then go and return the account to the user thereafter. And finally, if you don't follow Google's terms of service, your account will be suspended and you won't get it back. And if you find yourself as an admin in the situation where you can't restore someone's account, this is likely to be one of the potential reasons why. So let's talk about how you actually go ahead and you suspend an account. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through suspending a user, and then I'm going to show you that in the admin console and show you that in GAM as well. To suspend a user, very straightforward. You just want to go into the admin console, go to your users, find the user you want to find, hover over them, click more, and then suspend user. And then to confirm it, you click suspend. So I've jumped across to the admin console just now, and I've got these users here that I've just imported. These are some demo users. And if I move over the user, I can go along to the end here and click more, and then I can click suspend user. And then to confirm that suspension, I just click suspend. And that's how easy it is to suspend the user like that. Now, if I want to, I can move over to Cloud Shell and show you how to do that with GAM. Okay, so I've jumped across to Cloud Console, and now I'm going to use a GAM command to suspend a user. So I'm just going to do GAM update user, and then I'm going to put in the user's email address. So I'll put demo user1 at our domain. And then I'm just going to put suspended on, and that will suspend this particular user. So it's updated the user and suspended them. And that's how we can do this with GAM. So restoring a user is relatively straightforward. We're just going to go back to the user in the admin console and reactivate them. Similarly with GAM, and we're going to switch off suspended. So let's go and look at that in the admin console. So here I am in the admin console, and here is the user that we suspended earlier. One of them, this is the one we suspended. The one I suspended via GAM is just shown here, demo user 1. But this is the one we suspended with the admin console. So I'm just going to go into here to more. And this time I'm going to click reactivate to reactivate that account. And then I can click reactivate to confirm. I've switched across to Cloud Console. So now I'm going to use GAM to reactivate this user. So I'll just switch suspended off with the command. And now I've updated that demo user 1. And they will no longer be suspended. Okay. So you can suspend users in bulk. To do this, what you can do is download the bulk upload CSV file, the blank CSV file, add your email addresses for your users and their details, and then use the new status upload only column and enter the word suspended. Or you can download all your users, filter out the ones that you don't want, delete the rows that you don't want to suspend, and then add suspended to the column new status upload only for those you want to suspend. And similarly, you can use a CSV file containing the email addresses of the users you want to suspend in GAM to use the GAM bulk CSV commands to update and suspend multiple users in one go. So let's look at how we do this for suspending users using the CSV method. So first of all, I'm just going to show you a CSV file that I've got created. So here's a CSV file. I've stripped out passwords here just for security, but you would normally have passwords that you're going to reset for these users that you're suspending anyway. And then what I've done is in this column here, new status upload only, I have changed that to be suspended. So then when I switch across to the admin console, I can now, in the admin console here, what I can do is I can go and click on bulk update users. I can then attach my CSV. This is where you would download all your users or download the template if you wanted to. I'm going to attach my CSV, which is here. And then I'm going to upload that. And what this will do is we'll go through all of those email addresses and it will suspend all of those users. So now if I refresh this, you'll see now what I've got here is all of those users have been suspended because it says suspended by admin there. So I can do the same thing with GAM. You'll see what I've got here is I've got the command gam csv suspend.csv. Suspend.csv is the file that I'm showing there. And in there, the column I want to reference is the one called email space address space required in square brackets. So that's the column that I want to access in the file because that's holding the email address. Now with GAM, what I can do is I can use the column headings as fields in the GAM command. So in this case, I'm going to have gam csv, the file name, gam update user, and then I put a title. And then because this field name, because the column heading has spaces in it, I use single quotes around it to delimit it. So I'm going to say title, single quote, email address required, close single quotes, suspended on. And that's going to suspend those users in the file. And it will run a GAM command for each of the 17 users in the file, updating each one and suspending it. So that's how you suspend users in bulk. And you can do the same thing to reactivate users as well. So to reactivate users, it's exactly the same process it is to suspend them, except this time in the CSV file that we upload to the admin console, we're changing the word suspended to active. So really straightforward. So here's the file. I'm going to change this to active and save that as my CSV file. And then I'm going to upload that to the admin console. So I'm back in the admin console. I'm just going to upload my file to reactivate these accounts. So I'm just going to do bulk update. And I'm going to attach the CSV file, which I've just saved. And that's called activate. And then I'm going to upload that. So for all those accounts in the file, they will now be activated, reactivated as a result of the bulk CSV. With GAM, now this is where that was me updating the users to suspend them. So now I can just use exactly the same command to unsuspend them, to reactivate them. So I just say suspended off. And that will take all of those users and take off that suspension. So grand, brilliant. So that's reactivating users in bulk. So you've now seen today what happens when users are suspended. You've learned a little bit about how users can be automatically suspended and what the implications of that are. You've seen how to suspend users individually and in bulk. Hope you found that useful. I'm Charlie Love. Thanks for watching this Chrome Enterprise tutorial with Apps, Events and Acer.